October 8th, 2013. Still going to do one more clip on 1983 before we venture off into other years. But it seemed like it was in January. I'm trying to remember, because I remember there was snow on the ground. But in January of 83, I think we traveled up, Gordon and I, up to Duluth, because I'd never been to Duluth. But there was a concert there, and a Judas Priest concert. And what led to that, going all the way up to Duluth is like a 3-hour drive from the cities, and then plus we go another hour west of here, so it was like a 4-hour trip. But it was very important to me, part of letting go of my earlier days growing up in Oklahoma and wild and woolly years. When I came up to visit during the state fair, I think I talked about that. Came up to visit for a week during first part of September. So late August, first part of September is when the fair is going on. And was here for a week. Had all my wisdom teeth pulled out because Gordon had his office was on Main Street, the professional building, and next one of his business partners across the next to him there had a dental place. Who was it? Wong, he was the oral surgeon, so he's the one that actually yanked the bloody teeth out, because they were long overdue, and had no problem cutting and ripping those babies right out of there. But I was all stuffed with gauze and still healing. Hard to believe he did all that in 1 week, but come up to visit and go to the fair and get my teeth yanked out and ship me back to Oklahoma. But anyway, there was some excessive bleeding or something, and I was late because I had to go in and see what it was about, and because I was late getting to my plane, to get the return trip. So they had to book me on a later flight, called and got me on a later flight out of Minneapolis. But there was a stop. I had to stop a layover in St. Louis, and in that connecting flight it wasn't confirmed, so there wasn't no seating on there. So I actually had to spend the night in St. Louis on that first trip up, and that was quite an experience because being 20, but I had been well versed. I didn't feel we had traveled enough before up to that point. Traveling to Jamaica with my dad, flying over, traveling to Mexico, Cancun, folks and brother, sister-in-law. I didn't feel very uncomfortable in being able to hop on a plane and go. So when it came to the point that I couldn't make the connecting flight, and they were just wanting to let me on because there was actually a waiting line. I remember sitting in the hallway and asking, is anybody going to, let me have a seat so I can connect the flight? And no one was going to give up their place in line because everybody was on hold. Everybody wanted to, fly out just as much as I did. But I had a concert that night. I had tickets to Judas Priest, and it was important that I get back to Oklahoma City. And long and short of it is that I didn't make it. The plane took off. I was stuck there in St. Louis. I did get a hold of Gordon finally, because I remember I kept calling, and the phone line was busy. And when I finally got through, he said, there should be a number or two there at the airport that somebody call those motels, and they'll come pick you up and just go spend the night, and then the next morning we'll arrange and get a flight out for you. So I did. I remember going back to the room and pretty sad. But got to see a movie. What was it? It was Fog, which was kind of a horror flick, and so it wasn't a complete loss. You know, me and scary movies. If I had a scary movie, I was fine. But anyway, made a trip back to Oklahoma. A few months later, made a decision to move and moved back. 82, Judas Priest came out with an album, Screaming for Vengeance. And up to that point, this was their breakthrough in North American continent, because they really had a big hit with a song called Another Thing Coming. Like I said, MTV was taking off, and they really got their name up there. Before that, because I remember seeing them at the, I want to say the Civic Center there in Oklahoma City. They was just first starting out, because some of the guys and I really liked their music. Had some of their early albums before they made national success here in the States. They're kind of what they call underground cult following. So a lot of us were really into the heavy metal, because he just had Rob Halford had a tremendous voice, high pitched scream that was unequaled. There's not too many people that can match that. So it's always been one of my favorite bands growing up. So once I got to Minnesota here, I explained all that and about missing the concert and sad, and he said, "Well, write in and see where where else they're touring, because they're here in North America." And it wasn't the end of the year yet that I wrote, and Al wrote back and said that they'll be sorry. I told her the story, and then she said, "Sorry to hear that you missed the concert in Oklahoma, and your plane was grounded or whatever. You missed the flight and missed the concert, but they'll be up in northern Minnesota in Duluth in January." So with that in mind, I think we called and I don't know if we called and got tickets. Must have, because once we have tickets, and tickets will travel. And we went up to Duluth, and I got to see them. I got some really excellent photos. I was doing a lot of concert photography at that time, and really coming into my own, and got some really good close. I think Gordon helped me pick out a telephoto lens, and then a 2x converter, which doubled the length. So I had like a 500-foot lens, and then with the 2x converter, it was like a 1,000-foot lens. So I really got some good close-up, good pictures. At that time, it wasn't really, worried about guns and stuff. So you could carry a camera into an arena and not it be an issue. They didn't have metal detectors and pat downs like they do nowadays. So I was able to get the camera and lens in. But 83, January 83, I remember distinctly going up and seeing the concert, and I guess that made my year. And I got to see him again, Judas Priest, in Washington, I think in 85. They came out with Turbo Lover, and they were playing in Tacoma, and drove over to Tacoma, and seen them again up close and personal. And that was the last time. I tried to see him. Came in when we was living up north from 92 to 2002. Came in to the city and missed them. They had evidently canceled that concert or moved it or something, and I remember going to the downtown Target Center and saying no, the concert was canceled. So missed them then. And then when I was living there in Mounds View, they came through one of the most recent ones that I remember. And I was just working too hard, and I think that Wednesday night I had to was my night to go to St. Cloud, and I had missed the previous week of going to St. Cloud, so I couldn't miss more than 2 weeks of delivering up at St. Cloud. So plus I didn't really have the money or the funds to go anyway, so I missed them there. And then this last year they came through, and then with all the concerts of going to St. Louis and flying to Toronto, I still didn't have the funds to go, because the closest place they played was over in Illinois, so I would have to drive over there. So I missed that one. That was the Tapestry album. I think they played a lot of a song from every album that they put out. As the last time they were together, one of the guitarists has since retired, but I have heard that they are in the studio and producing one with one of the new guitar players. So as long as Rob Halford's singing, they come through. Maybe next year they'll come close enough that I can go see them again. But one of my all-time favorites. So like System of a Down is TJ's. Judas Priest has always been one of my favorite bands. So with that, and the Screaming for Vengeance, I think it got a lot of very popular. I think they sold like over 5 million copies of that album, and to this day it's held in like the top 10 best metal albums, and all the top accolades. It ranks up there as being one of their most popular one. So here you go, from 1982, Screaming for Vengeance. This song is called Another Thing Coming, and this is the one that got a lot of airplay. You can hear it on the radio too. It was played on the radio once in a while. You still hear it. October 8th.